Hello and welcome to This Board Game Life. My name is Mark and today I'm here to do a review of Neon Rain. This is from Neon Knight Games, came out in 2024, designed by Aaron Hine and Manny Tremblay, and the artwork is also done by Manny Tremblay. This game is for 1 to 2 players, it takes 10 to 15 minutes to play. It's for ages 8 and up. Now, before we jump into my overview and get into the review, I do ask if you would please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell icon so you'll never miss when we drop new content. All right. So this type of game, this is an arcade-style head-to-head dueling card game. Some of the mechanisms in this game are card play, conflict resolution, hand management. There is a solo play in this as well, and the game does have variable player powers. Kind of the quick rundown is you reign supreme in the card game Neon Rain, an arcade-style head-to-head dueling game with a full solo mode. Defeat your opponents by playing cards that represent different moves and attacks while setting yourself up with combos. Each card has its own abilities and strengths, so players must use wits and strategy to outsmart their opponent. All right, so let's kind of talk about what comes in this box. So it's a smaller sized box. It's tall, but it's still small. I'm going to show you. So let me switch cameras. Now, I still don't have my camera. I have not been able to resolve the zoom. So I'm still, unfortunately, can't zoom in. But I'll show you what's in the game. There is, of course, a rule book. Now, the insert that's in here, I actually just printed this. I just finished printing this insert a few minutes ago, actually. So there is a cardboard. It's just a cardboard insert, so everything kind of just lays in the box. So there is, I printed this insert here specifically to hold everything. So just know that this insert's not in there, but you do get two different decks. They are identical on this side, but the back side has a different color. So you get 2 decks of 44 cards each. All right. You also get 2 health dials for each player. So this player has one. This player has one. There are now these. I have the deluxe upgrade too. So this is the deluxe version of the game. So I have like the metal coins. I believe the standard or retail edition probably does just have cardboard. And you get like 8 of these little shield tokens. And there's 20 of these star tokens. Again, these are upgraded ones, so these should be cardboard in the retail release. Let's see what else. There's 12. These are the tarot size cards. So these are standard poker deck size cards. These are tarot size cards. So these are your hero cards. So I'm going to show you some of these. And these are really cool. So there's 12 different characters that you can play as. So they got their name up there. They got their star power name that shows how many stars that you need to collect to trigger your star power, and it does trigger immediately as soon as you get your 5th star. In this one here, you will do 4 damage, and then the stars are play 2 of the same joystick. Oh, to heal up? I think that's that's a heart. I already forgot what that symbol meant. Play 2 of the same joystick. Gives you a plus of star power. Sorry. So this one, once you play this, you're going to do 4 damage and gain 2 more stars. So and then he's got a reflex. So that's his star power. Then what's like your passive, or not your passive ability, but your constant ability is he can draw a card for each counter card that you play. So every character plays different. They have different star powers, different abilities that they can use. Some of the star powers will cost you more stars. Some will take less, depending on what they do. But there's a tremendous amount of variety in this game of what these abilities are, and what, like, here takes 10 star power, but he does 10 damage and gains 3 shields. So, like, that's pretty powerful. So it's gonna take a while to build that up. So this one's just does 7 damage, period. But it does take 6, but there's no additionals. It's just a powerful 7 damage. So you can kind of pick which character. You can either like pick a character you want. You can just kind of randomize it. Now there's also these Neon Rain computer. They are the same 12, but these are used now. I don't know if they're actually. I think they're identical in every way. Let me double check. Toro. You may. So there is a little bit of difference because the ones that say computer, this is the AI. So this one has a little bit. It says you may only play 2 cards when attacking, but you can essentially play, if you're playing solo. There's 2 decks because you can fight yourself. Just like in a video game, like in the arcade video games, you can fight against yourself. And that's why there is. So you got kind of a double deck. These are the same characters that are in these 12, but these say computer, and this is intended for the AI. And then if you're playing solo, there is a solo deck as well, and they're gonna look a little different. There is an attack side and a defense side. So I've done the solo a couple of times. I really like the way the solo game is set up. There's difficulty. There's a couple different difficulties, and the computer AI will play a certain way, but you're pulling cards, and the cards are going to tell you what they're going to do, whether it's an attack or defense. So the solo is actually a really nice way to learn the game. So that's what I did. I played the solo when I first started out, and then you got 2 player aids. So as you can see, there's 2 of them. So one side's going to be when you're defending, and then the other side is when you're attacking. So it's just and then on the defending side shows you how to round resolution order. This game's very simple to play, and you'll pick it up very quickly. And this tells you everything you need right here. So, and I like that it's a large size card, easier to read. All right, so that's kind of a look at what comes in the game. So again, this insert does not come in it. I found this insert on Maker's World and printed that out to make storage just a little bit nicer. And everything fits in the box. And then, of course, we get the rule book. So I'll show you the rule book. It is, I think, 12 pages long. Is that what I come into next? Is the game colorblind friendly? So before I get into the rule book, yes, it is. There's a lot of color, but let me show you. So this shows purple. Let me see if I can pull a couple that have. I'm trying to find my buttons. Here we go. So here's a couple that is a good example. So, we got a blue card, a red card, and a green card. And, if someone's colorblind, it won't really matter because it says X. All the blue cards are X's, like an X button on a video game console. Reds are B's, greens are A's. So you'll know what button it is just by the letter or by the color or the combination. And then the bottom tells you the damage that this particular button's going to do. So it's there's not, I don't see anything here that would be an impact for a person that has color blindness. It's very friendly for that. Does it have, what's the punch out like? So I didn't have to punch anything in this version because I had the deluxe. And I guess I did have to probably punch. I think I punched out the health dials because these you had to put together. These are cardboard. It's the only thing cardboard in the deluxe version. So there was these probably one thing, if I recall. I've had this game for a little while, played it a while ago, and like wanted to finally do a review, finally starting to do my reviews. And this was one I wanted to do. But everything else, these are PVC cards. And so the deluxe edition does not have, other than the cardboard, those punch out dials, there's nothing else to punch out. So everything's like in a baggie. The standard edition, again, is poker size, so you can sleeve if you want. The box is empty. There's nothing like this. This insert wouldn't support sleeves, but these cards, the deluxe, these are PVC cards, so there's no need to sleeve them. And like I said, a storage open box. There's no storage tray, so you could sleeve your cards if you bought the standard edition. The artwork, as you can tell, it's a mix of bright and dark colors, and it really kind of calls back to the 80s. It reminds me of, like, just looking at this here, it reminds me of Max Headroom, if you're old enough to understand or remember Max Headroom back in the 80s, mid 80s, I think, mid to late 80s. I think he was a big hit. The lines on the card kind of remind me of Tron, and just the buttons and stuff, and then the joysticks. They have joystick cards, of the purple ones. Just kind of reminds me back to the old arcade days where you had your big arcade sticks and were mashing buttons. So that's, the artwork is really kind of, in that style, and it looks really cool. So what's special about the game? Well, I think this game is extremely fun to play against a friend, and it's even fun in solo mode. Solo offers, like I said, various levels of difficulty. It's a great way to learn the game before facing off with the real opponent. That's what I did. They talk about how to play solo and how you can do a difficulty. So there's a training mode. And what it does here is there's training, there's normal, and there's hard. So in the training mode, when the player decides to recover, the computer will also recover. So in other words, when you are recovering or drawing back your hand up to your hand size, the computer AI is not going to attack. They're essentially going to reset as well. In the normal mode, the computer will never recover. They will always attack on their turn. So even when you as the player is taking a recovery, or you're building your hand back up, you're going to get attacked. And then on the hard mode, the computer will never recover. They will always attack on their turn. And when attacked, the computer hero flips 2 of the solo cards when defending instead of just 1. So the computer will basically have 2 defense cards instead of just 1. So it does make them a lot harder to defeat. So I really like how they did that, how they kind of gave you some AI difficulty levels. And so I recommend doing the training mode and just getting to learn the iconography and learning how to play the game, when to recover, when not to. So, and there's just a lot of different characters. I was showing you, there's like 12 different characters to play with. They all have different abilities. The rule book here has 12 pages in it, and it is very easy to read. It's very colorful. There's lots of examples in here. In fact, this whole page here says examples. So here's how to play. Here's solo mode. Here's 2-player game mode. You can do a single game, best of 3, 2v2. And there's these like coins, which kind of, you can use these as well. And you can do just a one-off game, a single game if you want, but you can do like that, best of 3. So whoever gets the 2 coins, right? When you win a match, you get a coin on your side. And when you get 2 of them, you win. So stuff like that. All right, so let's get into the gameplay. So how many rounds, turns, phases of this game? How's it work? You are going back and forth. Both players are going to have a hand of cards, and there's some cards actually are for defense, some are for attack. They have a little symbol up in the corner, so you know which ones are to be used for that. And so one player will attack, and then that other player has the ability, if they have defense cards, they can do a defense. They can play some cards to try to lower the attack, or maybe negate it altogether or whatnot. Once someone has 0 health, game ends and the other player wins. That's kind of it. Also, if you go through your whole deck, so you got to be careful on your recovery. If you go through your entire draw deck, there's no redrawing your discard pile to make a new one. That's it. That's all you have. So you do run the risk if you refresh a lot and your opponent is not, they're going to have a lot more cards than you. So again, you've got to manage your hand, when to attack. Maybe not. Don't always go for a refresh. If you maybe sometimes you got to take an attack and keep a, or you don't attack because you have a hand of defense. Maybe you don't attack, but then you can still defend, and you got to watch their hand as well. Maybe try to match your refresh with their refresh type of thing. All right, so the goal of the game, again, defeat your opponent by playing cards tactically to perform moves and attacks, strategically setting yourself up with combos, using your character's star powers at just the right time in order to come out on top. So again, I talked about players going to manage their hand of cards to determine what cards to use on their turn to attack or refresh their hand if running low on cards or if they're empty. You can play your attacks. You can increase shields. You can gain health. You can strike your opponent's deck. So some of the star powers have a strike mark, and I think some of the actual attack cards do too, where a strike is removing cards from an opponent's draw deck. So that can be very powerful because you're giving them less and less to have, and so those are, strike cards are very powerful, and you can also gain star power. So, like I said, make sure you save your cards to defend against your opponent's attacks, or you could be left open to attack. I mentioned you can refresh at any time, but again, if you refresh and your opponent has cards in their hand, they can attack you. You basically you run the risk of being left open for an attack, because as you're doing that, they're going to attack you. So just manage your hand wisely. The game is very easy to pick up. Like I said, interesting thing. This is a throwback to the days of arcade fighting games. And this game is also the first from Neon Knight Games, who partnered with Chip Theory Games to bring this game to life. And I know they've got another one that's about to release here at Gen Con. And that's just 4 days away. What am I saying? Yeah, 4 or 5 days away. I will be there. I am going to go check it out. It's called Fight 5, I believe. And I am going to go check it out. I want to see what this company's next game is like. And I will be sure to share that on our podcast when Rob and I get back from Gen Con. We'll be talking about all kinds of things that we see there. But it's on my list to go check out. So, but they have done a fantastic job with this game. All right, and then let me switch back to this main camera. I'm pretty much done. Again, if you would hit like and subscribe and hit that bell icon for us, that'd be great. So, what about the advertised play time? I think it's at 10-15 minutes. It's very accurate. Maybe your first time playing, you might take a little longer because you're going to be checking your reference card, just making sure you got the iconography down really well. But once you play that maybe once through, it just becomes kind of, yep, you just play, and you can even play the AI in 10 minutes. It's actually really fun. All right, so let's talk about some pros. The deluxe version of the game is pure quality, which is what I expect. That Chip Theory is involved in this, so the cards are PVC. I've got the plastic upgraded components in there. The only cardboard piece in the deluxe version are the health dials. But I would imagine, I haven't seen the retail release, but I would imagine, again, even though it's Chip Theory is involved, and one of the things about Chip Theory is they've always been kind of, they don't use cardboard in their games. So this company is working with Chip Theory, but Chip Theory, this is one of those games that allows them kind of hit more mass market because it's going to be a lot more cost friendly for mass market type of thing. Where Chip Theory, I think Rob and I have always talked about Chip Theory being more of a boutique publisher. They have, neoprene mats and poker chip stuff, like everything PVC cards. They just don't use cardboard. So this is, I think, a way of them kind of working into not have such quality components, but through a different publisher that they're working with, or through a development company that they're working with, however that works. But they partnered, a partner, I guess. So the game is still quality. The game, again, plays really quick. It's very easy to learn. It does feel like an arcade battler with the cards showing the different button combinations, allowing you to do combos to maximize your damage. There is a combo breaker card that you can use on your defense, and the game is going to be different every time you play it, based on how you shuffle your deck, right, and how the cards come up, and then also which hero do you choose every time. You are going to have 12 heroes to choose from, so they're going to all play very differently, and and they're all really fun. All the ones I've played so far, I've just had a great time with and really enjoyed. So, what are some cons? I always try to have something, because I don't think anything's perfect. Even games that get rated a 10, there's always something, no matter who you listen to, there's always something that they're to nitpick, right? And in this game, I only have one thing that I can nitpick, and that is, you might have noticed it when I was messing with the cards. These things are PVC. They are very slippery. They are really hard to hold in your hand. They just, I don't know if I can do this, but like I'm just like lightly tapping, like, and they just slide right off. Like, they are very, so like when you got them in your hands, when you're holding your hand, sometimes that would be my nitpick, is these things are like, and it makes it a little tough to shuffle. They kind of want to go everywhere, but I could have bought the standard version too, right? So this is in the deluxe. That's really the only issue I have. The artwork is great. The gameplay is fun. It's quick. There is strategy in here, but it's an easier enough a game that anybody can play this, and I think anybody would pretty much like this. So my final thoughts: is the game fun? Yes. Did I enjoy it? Absolutely. Would I recommend it? Yes. I do give this game a thumbs up. I have talked to other people about this. Others have bought it based off my recommendation and enjoyed it. I highly recommend this game. And who do I think would like it? I think gamers who enjoy arcade fighting games. I think nostalgic gamers. This just, there's things when I'm playing, sometimes I'll be reminded of, like, things like combo breaker, certain terms from some fighting games that, finish him, right? Things like that. Like, those types of thoughts will come into your mind as you're playing this game, and you're kind of reminded back to the old arcade fighters and stuff like that. And I think people love a quick card game that is ever changing every time you play. And it's a small box. You could travel with this fairly easily. It's not a large box, and it's very replayable. So that's my thoughts on Neon Rain. Again, from Neon Night Games, in partnership with Chip Theory. Yeah, I think this is a great one. Add this one to your collection. Again, I don't give scores. I just don't give scores. I don't rate, because I think that everyone's different. Someone say, "Wow, this game's boring. I give it a 5." Others like, "It's fantastic. I give it a 10." It all depends on the gamer, and this is something that, if you kind of like what I said about it, then go get it. It's not a high priced game. Even the deluxe, I think, is. I should look this up for you real quick. I should have had that ready to go. But let me see if I can find this out for you. So if I go even straight to Chip Theory Games, I can find it right there. And but yeah, here it is, Neon Rain. It's the deluxe version is $35. Like, that's it. So, which I think if you go to Chip Theory Games, you can only get this deluxe edition from them. I'm assuming I'm pretty sure there's a non-deluxe version, but Neon Rain version. Let me see. Um, I am curious if you can get this standard edition. So, okay, so I'm looking at a retail site that has the standard edition, and it's $24.95. So, again, the differences are going to be that between the $10, you're going to get cardboard instead of PVC cards and the plastic upgraded tokens and things like that. So, I mean, $10, I think that's worth it in my opinion. But I like the fancy bits. That's just kind of how I am. So, but the game is fun no matter what, whichever version you get. If you like those kind of two-player games, you like things that are quick, you like this kind of flashback to arcade gaming, and this is a fantastic game. And the artwork, I mean, it's Manny Tremblay, so it's going to be good. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, again, please give us a like and hit that subscribe button, and we will catch you on the next one. Hope you had fun, and we will see you at the table.